everybody else and helping everybody else. But when it comes to me as normal, you kind of go, you don't know where to start because I got so much to tell. So
fabulous. I'm
it's easier
pleased. I am all ears.
Yeah. So what would you like to know?
Okay, maybe let's just start with the background behind the inspiration behind your business and sort of what led you to even move into the space. And if you could also define for me, what sort of work specifically do you believe you do and what value do you offer to your clients? Because that will really help me understand when we discuss what sort of work we could potentially do together. It will give me a foundation to work with.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, so the background, I love people, so relationships are really important to me.
Yes.
And I've had a lot of interesting relationships in my life with my parents, my siblings, my friends, my lovers, my husband, and all of that. So I'm all about acceptance and forgiveness, and that's what love is to me. And my biggest win, I think, in my journey of personal development was the fact that I could forgive my parents. So I grew up in a very tumultuous household. There was a lot of violence, physical, emotional, mental violence, all of them at the same time. And you never, I sometimes say, you don't know what was on a menu on a daily basis. You don't know what was coming. So there was always something wrong, right? And for years, I struggled with that emotional internal pain of, well, why? I always wanted to know why. What I discovered that they have no idea why. It was how they were wired. And I think when people, they don't have the awareness, they don't have the tools on how to deal with their emotions, they don't have the professional support to help them through. So I decided to go on a journey and figure out my reactions. So it started with one course and it was so profound that I said, I want to know more of where this come from. So then and you know, like when the student is ready, the teacher will come. Yes. So I started doing, programs and stuff like that. I found my mentor. I traveled everywhere he traveled. I learned lots and lots. And then I came across my mentor's mentor. And I got exposed to him, and he was doing a speech and he was talking about forgiveness. And out of everybody, he looked at me and said, "This is for you, Annie." And I went, wow. The guy doesn't know me, but he looked me in the eyes and he said, "This is for you." And he was talking about, you got to forgive yourself first before you forgive others. And I couldn't understand, why do I have to forgive myself? I didn't do anything wrong, right? But then I realized that it's the thoughts that I've had, not knowing, when we call ourselves stupid. I'm so stupid, I don't know how to deal with this. No, I'm not. I just didn't have the knowledge, that's all. So forgive myself for the fact that I didn't know. And understanding what forgiveness really is and all of that. So my message to the world is that forgiveness is freedom, but you can't sell that. Because if I say, I've got a workshop on forgiveness is freedom, people will go, yeah, right, I've forgiven my parents, but they talk about it all the time. So they don't know that that's more at a cellular level. Yes. It's a true, and that freedom comes from making that conscious decision that, you know what, I'm going to let go of this emotion. I'm going to let go of the resentment. You let go of that, you're good. And then also understanding that it's not you, it's the other person. Because if you know who you are, it's the other person. And whatever's going on for them, and you got to be empathetic that there's stuff that's going on for them. So when I had those breakthroughs and transformation, and I was at both my parents' deathbeds in forgiveness, and I know that they went in peace. I know. So to me, it's like there's no bigger gift that a person can have than that freedom. No bigger gift of, I can sleep at night because I know, because ultimately I saw the pain of my parents, and they died of illness because the illness is what killed them. the emotional pain that they had transformed into bodily. It's quite a correlation.
Energetics. I've studied Reiki at a few levels, so I fully appreciate and understand everything you are saying right now at multiple levels of consciousness. So
yes, yeah. So from there, like I separated from my husband, and the biggest win for me was when I went away on a trip, and every time I go to America to be with my mentor, I always set an intention on a plan. I go, okay, I'm going to go there. This is what I want to be, or this is what I want to get, or blah, blah, blah. And then this one time I remember I said, I want to go there and I want to come back with no resentment. And that's exactly what happened. And I get on well with my former husband. There's still emotion there between us because we still care about each other very much. However, it takes two, I believe, to do the work on themselves. I did the work on me, but he still needs to do the work on him. Otherwise, those resistances will always be there. So we'll never have an equal relationship. So, and I just thought, I don't want anybody else to go through the emotional pain that we have. So that's why I want to work with couples, and especially men.
That is so admirable. Partially because I feel that men societally, and I'm talking across different cultures, I have friends from around the world, and I mean around the world, and I have not seen one culture. It's more an attitude that parents raise their children with. I haven't seen one culture that praises men for actually articulating their emotions, for having courage, wisdom, and humility all at the same time, because that's seen as being soft, or all sorts of other horrendous descriptions that have so much weight attached to them. So I hear you loud and clear. And I fortunately have a wonderful male role model in my life, my brother and my dad, who are gentlemen by the true sense of the word. So I've seen every side of the coin.
Yeah.
With them, both sides.
It's really interesting. I watched on YouTube, I watched a YouTube interview with Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin.
Yes.
And Jane Fonda, and like they're talking about sisterhood and all of that. And I get all of that, but I'm not really into it. I mean, I'm over the female empowerment, and, not to disregard the women that fought for our rights and all of that. But I feel that it's overpowering. Nobody's watching what's happening to the man. And I have a son. To me, it's like, who's going to empower my boy to be the man that he wants to be? And if he's vulnerable, and my son's very vulnerable and soft and kind and angry.
Really, their heart.
Yeah.
Deep in their heart, they are.
And Jane Fonda said, she goes, at what point do they change? Because they're both born the same.
Yes.
They're both born with tear ducts. They're both attached to their mums. And when the mum walks away, the baby turns its head, whether it's a boy or a girl, looking for the mother. At what point do they change? And I just go, yeah, at what point?
Social conditioning. That's what
Thank you.
Blueprints.
Yeah. Yes. So then you have, my target market who I want to work with, but to be quite honest, I don't really know much about them. Like I didn't do the homework. Simao did, but I didn't. Right? Simao's got like a list that long, right? Sometimes I think I know how they feel because I've spoken to enough of them. I'm talking about professional men. These are the executives, the CEOs, the directors, the managing directors. It's already lonely at the top. Yeah?
Yes, I've worked with many of them.
They're lonely at the top.
Very.
They can't share their emotion with anybody because that's being considered weak. And if they want to go to another job, and the job might be good, but the position, but the management who's going to hire him is the old school, nah, you're a wimp, you're soft, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these poor men, they don't know which way to turn, so they keep quiet.
Yes.
Then they have the wife at home nagging at them, right? And they don't know how to talk to each other. He's at work going, oh my God, I am so full. He wants to go home to quiet. But on the other hand, she's at home. She has given. She's empty. Now she wants it from him. So how do they come to an understanding that she gives him time to when he comes home, and then he knows time to fill her up, right?
Beautiful. That is a lovely equation. When you can make it work.
So it's a beautiful back and forth dance that they have to do on a daily basis all the time. So I called myself architect because I help them build solid foundations today, not yesterday, today, where they are at today. Because who you were at 20, who you were at 30, at 40, is different who you are at 45, at 50, 55, 60, right? Your children are grown up, they're teenagers, they look after themselves. Now it's you too, and you don't know who you are. Because you have grown apart like this, doing the everyday stuff, right? And now the kids are grown up and you look at each other going, right, yeah? So my thing is, okay, let's just set your foundations now. Let's rebuild this home, right? So when the storms of life come, it won't rattle your foundations. It might shake the windows a little, but not your foundations, right? So I'm not just coaching you. I'm helping you build a solid foundation for yourself, for your relationship. And that's going to trickle into the rest of your family, into the rest of your relationships, because when you understand those fundamentals, then you go, oh, okay, I see what's happening here. I see what's happening here, right? I'm sure you heard of the love languages, right?
I have, and I know what mine are.
Okay, what's yours?
Okay, well, this is not something I normally share on a call like this, but my love languages are physical touch and quality time.
Yeah. And mine is words of affirmation, quality time, touch, and then the other two.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So, but when they understand the love language between each other and how to practice it and understand the various dialects, because you can speak the same love language, but if you have a different dialect, then you're going to be, yeah, but that's how I like it, right?
Yeah.
Recognizing that, you bring that into work, you will understand your team, and you will understand how to communicate with each one of them by using that particular language that they want to hear. If somebody likes words of affirmation and they've done something good, you go give them a pat on the back and say, well done, thank you so much. That person is like, they want that slaughter there and then.
Yes, absolutely. And I've watched that play out in various scenarios in workplaces. And I've also watched it play out where people do the opposite of what people are receptive of, and how that does not have the desired outcome ever.
No. So that's I think in a summary of where I'm at. The interesting thing is there's a lot of women that come to me, and that's possibly because, like I'm warm and fuzzy. So, I use words like delicious, and passionate and intimate and gorgeous. That's me. That's who I am. But then I understand that my target market doesn't talk like that. Even though when I tell men, well, I work with people to build the delicious relationships, they go, we like that word delicious. We like that. However, I think, my marketing person who helped me design my methodology, she goes, Annie, you're the no bullshit relationship architect. There's no BS about you. She said, you call people on their crap.
Good.
So she said, no BS. So right now, Simao is changing the brand, because I had a bit of feedback from men, because I had their Annie Callis building delicious relationships. And they said, Annie, if you want your market to be those type of people, delicious is not going to work well in a title. You can use that when you talk to them, but not in a title. So now we're going back to no BS relationship architect. So it's a bit more,
yes,
even though I am a very fluffy person.
Well, I think it's wonderful that you hold the space of who you are and you're living and working in your integrity. I mean, hats off to you, first and foremost, for doing that. I work with a lot of different businesses, and I can say with my hand on my heart that there's varying degrees of how people are actually living that integrity. And not necessarily at a conscious level, may I add, a subconscious level as well. And I think that there is absolutely no need to feel like you need to apologize or even justify that sort of language. I think it's fabulous. I think it's unique. I think it gives you, you know, a difference, a point of difference, you know, to other people working in a similar field. However, I think that's very wise and incredibly constructive feedback that you've been given, especially from your male clients. I mean, my female clients and male clients, it's interesting. I mean, some women, for example, have very strong masculine energy. So they actually don't respond that well to some sort of language. And then some men, as you would know this, have very strong feminine energy. But I think correct me if I'm wrong, what you're saying in terms of your target market that you want to really be reaching out to, you're looking towards men of a certain demographic who may sit more somewhere in the middle energetically. They've got that femininity, but they also have their masculinity, and you need to be able to speak to both.
Yes, okay. Absolutely. So because I think any man is going to look no BS relationship architect, relationships. Relationships architect, and he'll go,
Yeah.
Because even now people go, what's a relationship architect?
But that's what's great about it, because it prompts inquiry.
Absolutely. So I'm so excited with that name. I've been because my methodology is about setting the solid foundations. And then one day I looked up the word foundation. I love words. So I'm like a wordsmith. I'm forever looking at words and how can I put a sentence together. And I just love. Yes. And then I looked the word foundations, and then I started to look at, you know, and usually it relates to a house. What it does and why is it important, and I went into that, and I said, oh, hang on, so who designs a house? Architect. Relationships architect. That was it. I'm like, because I know people are going to say, what's a relationships architect? You like build stuff? You.
Yeah. And you know what, Annie, is interesting as well, if you delve even deeper into the word architect, what is synonymous with architect designed homes?
It's like a specialist, like an authority.
And continue on, more words to describe it.
Somebody who really knows the ins and outs of a home. And they kind of they have the concept, they conceptualize everything, and they're the ones that tell you, okay, you should do this because it's going to do that and that and that and that.
Amazing. One other thing that's sprung to mind for me was the quality of the outcome. If something is architecturally designed, it's almost a stamp of assurance that it has some sort of quality behind it, some sort of depth of thought, of space, of measurement, of complexity, and it therefore gives it more credibility.
I'm in love with you.
Okay. That's wonderful. Thank you very much.
No problem.
I love myself too, and I'm coming to love you as well. So.
I love the way you talk and how you think. And I just remembered one of my friends who actually, he's a gentleman, and he said to me about the name that I had. And he said to me, because you should go and study the word architect.
Yes.
And I forgot. But I wrote it down somewhere amongst my 10 million things that I need to do, to research the word architect and what's the depth of it and where does it come from and what does it really mean. and all of that, and you just put it in. I don't need to do any more homework. You just put it in all the words. Thank God that I recorded it.
I was about to say, I'm very pleased.
Now I can transcribe it through Otter, and it's all there.
Fabulous, fabulous. So, I mean, part of the reason why I describe it as such is a reflection of my background as well. So, you know, okay, so my business is called Clarified Solutions, as you're aware, and that is precisely what I do. I bring clarity and solutions for my clients. And there's 3 key pillars of my business, and they are effective communication, project management, and grant research and writing. So it is an interesting combination, and it comes from many, many years of work experience across many industries, and also my studies at university. So my undergraduate degree was in ancient history and anthropology, and my love of people, much as the same as yourself, that's where that really exploded. And that's where I thought, okay, people is what it's all about for me. And eventually that's what I need to be working in. So it's in alignment with myself and with my purpose and integrity. So that was my undergraduate. My postgraduate, I am one subject away. I am a cat's whisker away of completing my Masters of Arts Management. So it's like an MBA for the arts. Yeah. And it's really prompted so much creativity for myself, and showed me as well that the direction that I'm taking with my business is on track. It actually really got me excited, and it was part of what inspired me to begin my business 2.5 years ago. So that's my academic background. And in terms of my professional background, amongst other things, as I mentioned, I've worked with a lot of executives. I've worked with executives in the role of, say, an executive assistant in tech companies, in major motor vehicle companies. In fact, I worked with the APAC director. And when you want to look at a case study of someone, I have never seen someone as busy as this particular person, yet how he handled it on most occasions was with a lot of persistence, tenacity, and also a very calm demeanor. He was incredible. I learned a lot from him in terms of strategy and business and all sorts of things. Mm-hmm. So I've basically taken all of these experiences, brought them together, and then what I do is my client target market is creative businesses and community organizations because of my background. And I've worked with some amazing organizations that I've had a lot of fun with, doing project-based work or sessional work for startup businesses, or for businesses that are moving through the business cycle and almost moving through a state of evolution, much the same as you're doing at the moment. So it's established, they have some foundations, however they feel for whatever reason they need to pivot and cater more to their market. Yeah. So that's where I come in and start talking about strategy, start talking about how effectively, or in their case, not effectively, they are communicating. So that's a little bit of my background, and I have endless passion for what I do. It fills me right up, and I look forward to doing it for many years to come. So when Samo put me in touch with yourself, I thought, this sounds really interesting. I'm curious to find out more. And Samo is incredible. Just a caveat for the work he does. I'm very good friends with his wife, Rochelle. Yep. I've known her for 2 years now. We're in a business networking group, and also friends outside of this. And I've, of course, met Samo through her. And I really appreciate his work ethic.
Yes. Are you in Arbonne?
I'm not in Arbonne, but I've had many people try and recruit me.
Yeah, no. Are you, which business network, the BNI or something else?
No, it's actually very different. It's one that was set up by one of my girlfriends, who's actually a relationship coach as well. So she has a business called Empower Couples. It's very interesting. And what I find is wonderful is she's also cracked the code, Annie. And guess what? She's working more so with men. Surprise, surprise. So the group is actually a closed group. Reason being, we talk about business, but now we're so close that we really do talk about a lot of personal things as well.
Sure, sure.
And we wanted to make sure there's continuity within the discussions and our knowledge of each other. So that's what Rochelle's part of, and I'm part of, and 10 other women are. So
beautiful. That's cool. Awesome. Yeah. So the reason why I asked him out, because I have to do, I got this opportunity for Monash University, the students.
Yes.
They're doing some field experience, so they're creating a website for me. So, and I've written about me before, but like this is the one that's gonna go out onto the website. Yeah. So I said to him, do you know copywriters? I mean, I really don't know much what copywriters do, other than they use words to make it look good, right? So, and I don't know the definition. So I don't really know what copywriters do per se. But I just thought, look, I need a real kick-ass about me, so then I can put that up on my page. And they just sent me an email. I'm going, oh shit, I was supposed to send it to them today, and today just ran away from me.
Okay, as in you were meant to send the about me section for the website to them? Okay, so you need this happening ASAP.
Well, yeah. So because their program goes till I think March next year, and they were doing it in bits, and I said, oh look, I need a website now.
Yes.
All the other bits and pieces you want to do with it, that can come later, like all the customer this, that, and the other. I just need an about me page, put up what are my my products,
yes,
testimonials,
yes,
and whatever else I need to put in there. Yes. So, and I just thought, okay, you know, if somebody could help me with the about me, because this is what I hear, copywriters. I said, okay, maybe I should speak to somebody to see, okay, first of all, I want to know what the investment is, because if I can't invest in it, then I can't, then I just got to do what I got to do. How long, you know, that kind of stuff. And clearly you've got many different things that you do. And I'm sort of sitting here going, now, what do I really need?
Okay, sure. So I'll bring some clarity to you for this. First, let's start with what is a copywriter. So copywriters wear many hats. One of them is the writing phase, and that's part of the process. But to be honest, the writing phase comes midway and towards the end. For me personally, doing copywriting, the preparation is really key. So that's making sure that there is a very clear line of communication with whoever the client is, that the objectives of the client are actually met, that the tone of the writing is spot on. I mean, there's a whole list of things you can go through. Yeah. So copywriters, in essence, what they do is they take the objectives and the vision and the intended outcome of a business, usually, and then they communicate that using words and images as well, because there needs to be unison between them. Otherwise, things can go a bit skew with, I can tell you that much. And they bring the images and the words together in order to communicate a narrative about that business. So it's storytelling, but a very finessed version of storytelling. So that's copywriting. In terms of the structure that I follow, which I've already alluded to, is there's initial discussions about, okay, where are you now? Where do you want to go? And let's set some milestones to achieving this. It also comes down to a very clear discussion of, okay, what time frame do you have? In your case, it seems like this week really would be great if there's time for that communication in between, but if not, maybe next. For there to at least be initial drafts being sent back and forth, and the parameters really clearly laid out. In terms of how I structure pricing, which is something you also mentioned. So I have two different pricing systems because of the variety of work that I do and the complexity of some projects I work on. So to give you a bit of background, I worked with a community organisation that are based in Dandenong. They're incredible. They're called AFRI Ozcare. Basically, many different African nations as well as Middle Eastern nations, and they're a community group that go and do amazing projects. And I've got testimonials from them and so on. And one project I worked on with them was so intense and so in-depth and required so many hours on my behalf. What I did is I quoted them for a dollar amount for the entire project, a project specific amount rather than an hourly rate, which would have skyrocketed. And also I am aware of their financial position, and I really wanted for their community and our community to be able to give back as well. So I worked on a grant research and writing project, which is ongoing, where I'm advising them on different grants that they can tap into. And it's a whole thing we can talk about another time if you'd like to.
Yeah.
So that's one. So there's project specific, and then there's sessional work as well. And the sessional work is usually a smaller scale. In terms of an hourly rate, I charge $220 total. So what it would be a matter of is working out, okay, let's scope this out. Let's work out our plan, okay, first and foremost, and come to an agreement on that. And then with my experience, I can say, look, this is going to take me 2 hours, 3 hours, 1 hour, whatever the case may be, depending on how long the about section is, how many you already have, what I need to bring to the table, how many drafts go back and forth, and then we go ahead with it. So, but usually what I would do is that would be clear from the get-go in terms of the anticipated cost. It's not something that just is made up at some point in time. Highly intentional, very clear, so that my clients can factor that into their plans.
Sounds good. So that's the thing. I mean, I personally don't know how long this takes, right? Okay. Now, like when I worked with Simao, like for the first month and a half or so, all we were talking, he was just asking me a million questions, right? About my target, and then knowing Simao, he was like, this and this, and I'm like, oh my God, like I can't keep up with the amount, because he's a creative, so he goes on a tangent and he goes, I'm like, I'm still there.
Yes.
You know, you're already there, but that's okay. It worked out. My logo is just unbelievable. The work that he's done on it's just the colors, everything is just magical.
Beautiful.
Well, I don't know. Yeah. Did you see any of the banners at all?
Okay, a few things. So first things first, I'm not sure. Oh, actually, it was mentioned in the email. One wonderful thing in terms of truncating this experience for you, so making it much shorter, is that you've already set the foundations with Simone. And if we were to go ahead, I could read through those briefs of everything you've come up with and then make a lot of connections in my head so that this process is just condensed. It is not going to take a month, I can assure you. I would be quite concerned if it took a month.
Okay, again, I don't know. And Simao said to me, can I send Caitlin some stuff? And that's okay. But what I meant by when I said about Simao is that I understand the concept that you want through whatever your thinking is. And I am sure, if I can read you well enough, is that your brain is already going, oh yeah. Yeah. Done, no problem. This is easy. Because there's not that much to it. There's not much more than what I said to you about what I am about. So I don't want it to be overly complex. It's just more about what are their problems?
Yes.
And how can I support them so that they're not alone? While I'm at it, and because you like all these organizations and non-for-profit stuff,
yes,
there is a new organization out there called the Male Hug.
Okay, I haven't heard of that one.
It's new. Look them up, just so you can, so you just watch what they're doing. It's an organization that was created to support these professional men that have nobody to talk to. So they engaged not engaged. They actually, I mean, everybody at the moment is, what do you call it? What do you call it? You know, when you do things for free?
Oh, it's in pro bono?
Not pro bono, but volunteer.
Oh, okay.
Well, right now, everybody is really volunteering, kind of thing.
Yes.
And I have been waiting for an organization like that to show up.
Right.
Because they are my target market. And the person who started it he's their accountant, and they come to him and he knows the problems that they have. So he said, he goes, these men are hurting because they have nobody to speak to. Right? So you got really fuzzy all of a sudden. Oh, now you're back.
My internet just went, woo.
Now you're back. So these guys are really awesome. So because I know him, and when this showed up, I sent him a message. I said, oh my God, I have been waiting to find an organization that I can support, a male organization, because there's lots of women ones, but there's no men ones. And I said, because my target market are men, and because like he's elegant and he's a real businessman, powerful businessman and stuff like that. And I can see everybody that he's collected along the way. I mean, the ambassador is a footy player, Jonathan Hay, and he's actually, he suffered with depression and drug abuse and all that kind of stuff, and rebuilding his life. So he knows and footy players that actually have finished playing, they are like, what now? So they're lost, right? So I'm just like, I talk to you, you know, because it's about building your life. It's not about going down memory lane. Like a psychologist, you know, they have their place, but a lot of them talk about the past. I don't. I talk about today, and where do you want to go? Where are you at today? And then if stuff comes up and it's beyond me, then I actually have people that they can go to, because one person is not going to be able to help you with everything. You know, if you were abused in your childhood and it pops up, then you got to go to a psychotherapist that specializes in inner child work, right? Because they got to go back into their child, and protect the child and make it okay, because that child is still within you. And I know this because I've done a lot of inner child work, and that's where a lot of my freedoms have come also, because I was able to let go of that pain from back then. So I can tell a story now about getting my head smashed against concrete wall and not fall into a heap. It was just, I have no energy attached to it anymore.
Wonderful.
You know,
basically discharged all the negative energy.
Absolutely.
It is natural now.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I can see, and you know, like I've got lots of different missions, you know, forgiveness is freedom, reduce the divorce rate, bringing men and women together to work alongside each other, not against each other.
Partnerships. That's what that's called.
Thank you. So when I look at relationships architect, I build the individuals up. It's the relationship with yourself, and then bring the two of you together. And then, you know, I lost all my friends that I had prior to me doing all this personal development because they don't get me.
They're not in alignment. They don't vibrate at the same level potentially. So
no. And I heard this statement from Les Brown. Do you know Les Brown? Have you heard of Les Brown?
Yes, yeah, very well.
I love Les Brown. If you're the smartest person in a group, find another group. And I kind of went, oh yeah. Right? But that's not because, oh, I'm smarter than you are. It's just we've outgrown each other. We're on different playing fields. I'm here to devote my life to the betterment of others. Because mine has become so good because somebody else did that for me. It would be remiss of me not to continue that, you know, and gift other people what I know. And if I can make a difference to them and to their legacy, which are the children, well, because this is not about us. This is about what comes after us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what I loved before is when you talk about the interconnection of relationships. So it's not purely that initial ripple, which is the nuclear family, but it's the friends, it's the colleagues, it's the people they see when they go to the shops and interact with. The quality of their life experiences as impacted by the way that they interact with their world. Because there's a beautiful Buddhist saying, you know, what we think we become.
Absolutely.
Everything is framed in our mind. Nothing exists outside of it. So when people can really appreciate and live that,
yeah,
when the life changes.
Absolutely. I can tell you, I feel so blessed at the moment. Like, I'm talking to you and I'm going, oh, she talks my language. Okay? And I have been really, really blessed with the people that have come my way that are helping me to build this business, you know. And it's hard. It's really hard because there's this, and like, if I could just coach or teach from stage, no problem. But there's all this other stuff, you know. And then you hear from this person, from that person, you should do this, you should do that, and you just go. So I've been very fortunate with Simao, with Mindy, who is my marketing coach. She's in Tel Aviv. She lives in Tel Aviv. She's also my finance coach because she teaches couples. So her thing is to save marriages, because finance is what destroys a lot of marriages. And she says 80% of couples that break up, it's because of finance. So what she does is she helps couples work out their finances and build their nest egg, right? So she's got an unbelievable methodology. So I said to her, I said, well, I want to work with you because I'm not a finance person. So I want to understand more and more things, right? So she's coaching me with that. And she also helped me create a methodology. So she's brilliant, like really brilliant. Wow. And she did it all on her own as a single mom, brought up 2 children.
Oh, I'm impressed already.
She is just the sweetest. So, and now you, like, really beautiful people come my way who are connected to similar things. We are all here to make this world a better place with our individual work. Absolutely. So speaking with you, it's like I've known you forever. It's like we're speaking the same desire kind of thing, you know, and it's great. It feels so calming. And it's not about, oh, I sell to you, you sell to me. And it's not about that. And it feels really, really good. Yeah.
I think part of what underlies this ease of connection is that we both come from the same point of purpose, and that is servant leadership. Yep. We are here to inspire and uplift whoever it is that we come into contact with. And I would hazard a guess and say it's quite accurate that you would apply that principle to your personal life as well as your professional life.
Absolutely.
You know, when people say, oh, in my personal life, I do this. In my professional, it is all your life. Every interaction is one that you're experiencing, and it reinforces behaviors and patterns of behavior, of course, that then distinction. I behave in my business as I behave in my life, because that is who I am.
Absolutely.
Whole and unified. So
and I tell you what, like a sidestep from this, I am part of a group called Women Leading into the Future.
Ooh, I like the title. Okay.
Yes. So there is 6 of us girls. There was 11 originally. Yes. But the other 5, they said this is not for them. So our mentor, and his name is Blair Singer. And have you heard of him?
Sounds familiar, but it's not quite hitting the nail in my head. I can't quite picture.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So Blair Singer is a specialist in sales, in building teams and facilitation. So I'm certified by his academy in Phoenix, Arizona. So, Phoenix, Scottsdale, Arizona. And he said, he goes, why aren't there more women leaders on stage? Right? If you have a look, majority of trainers, facilitators, speakers are men. Mm-hmm. And he said to us, he kind of challenged us girls in his academy. He said, all of you have the same training as the guys.
Yes.
So why don't you do something? So then we said, okay, so we went out blindly, and we did the conference last year in July, and it went well and stuff like that. But we've learned along the way all the different challenges that we're having. So now we finally got somebody in, because we don't have capital in this, so we're putting our own money in. Okay. So we found somebody in Brazil who designed the logo for us, and we're okay with it. And at the time, we were looking for a copywriter.
I see.
Right. So I'm sitting here going, oh my God, they're gonna love you if you're ever interested. I mean, I have to talk to them and look at, you can meet them and we can tell you what we need, and then you can quote them, whatever. But I just had this image of coming into our Zoom call and going there, and everybody's going to say, love her. I can just see that.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So that's another side thing that I'm involved in. Okay. And even though it's our target market's women, right? But it's about empowering them to become leaders in their world, whether it's being a powerful mom at home, being a leader in the home front, or at work, or starting businesses, or empower themselves to be the best they can be, whatever it is. So we are the women leading them into the future. So we're going to be doing it from the stage. It's not us teaching them how to be speakers, but it's about giving them the tools, various different tools that we all have. Like Mindy's got the finance, I got the relationship. There's another one who does relationships, but she does a lot of the female-male energies. Okay. Then we've got purpose, the people that do purpose, health. So we've got an array of what we specialize in. Yes. Right? Yes. So that's something we are building now. Right.
So how wonderful that is with the core competencies. When you have such a diverse range of skills, that only seeks to add further value to whoever it is you're serving and your clients.
Yes.
So that will be fascinating to hear more about as time goes by.
Well, let me tell you, I'm very excited at the moment about talking to you, and I'm going to talk to Mindy, and I'm going to say, you're going to meet this woman. I think she's going to do some pretty cool bloody copy for us.
Indeed. And actually, I can let Mindy know that I have personally been to Tel Aviv, and it's one of the most beautiful cities in the world.
Oh, really? Awesome.
Yes. Actually, this is a fun story. I'll give you a little side note of it. So I'm a nerd. Very big one. Love it. Own it. It's part of my identity. And you'll understand why I mentioned that in a second.
Okay.
I went on an archaeological dig as a field researcher. This is amazing. In 2010 and 11, as part of my university studies, not for credit, for passion. I paid my entire way through this. I went to Israel. I went to a site that's southeast of Jerusalem. And it's a Neolithic site. So 4,000 years ago, I was digging with the University of Melbourne. Amazing. One weekend, we decided, let's go to Tel Aviv. And my mind just went, it is such a cosmopolitan city. The beach, the vibe, the beautiful architecture. It's so clean. It's so fresh. Oh, I can't wait to talk to her about it. I love Tel Aviv. It is brilliant.
Well, Mindy was born in America. So Mindy is Jewish, but she was born in America. She lived in New York. Right. And so she still has her New York drawl, right?
Love it.
And she went across, because she's Jewish, she went across to visit. And she was 20 years old, then she went back home. And then she said, no, that's where I want to live. She said she went somewhere and she goes, I stood on this site, and she said, I looked around me, and she said, I don't feel like this in New York. She said, being Jewish in the States, you know, people don't like you, they have a go at you and all that kind of stuff, right? She said, here, she goes, I'm home. So she's in her 50s now, and she's been there that long, 30 years.
Wow. What a story. When you can feel that heart-centered connection with the space. That's when you know you need to be somewhere.
Wait till you meet her and you'll go, yes, of course. Yeah.
Fabulous.
Absolutely.
Oh, wonderful.
Good.
I appreciate what the work she does. So I look forward to it. Mm.
Okay, so I definitely will mention her to you, you to her,
Yes.
and then see what, you know, possibly set up a call just to meet each other, just so you know, so she knows, and you know each other, and then if we need someone when we're ready to do the next whatever we're going to be doing.
Yes.
This COVID kind of threw everybody off everything, so we're trying to get our businesses to go, and so we're meeting on a regular basis. We meet every week,
okay. Oh, good.
of us, and at the moment we are actually getting to know each other at a much deeper level, so we're sharing our own stories at a deeper level, so we know where we all come from, so then when we create the next thing, you know, so
excellent. And how many time zones are you juggling? So you've got Israel, you've got Australia. Where else are you from?
we've got Brazil,
yeah.
at the moment Spain, but she's gonna come home because so we got a girl, Claudia, who is Mexican. And at the age of 8, she said, I want to live in Australia. So when she was in her early 20s, she moved to Australia. She just came. So she's a world traveler. She has traveled the world. Yes. And now she's been stuck in Spain, but she lives in Adelaide and she can't wait to come home. So we got a few girls. We got one from Mackay, or up there in Queensland. We got an Adelaide girl. We've got a Sydney girl. We got Tel Aviv, and we got Brazil.
Brilliant. So it's predominantly Australian Eastern Standard Time.
Well, it just so happens. So usually we meet at 8 o'clock on a Thursday night.
Yes.
And that kind of works well for all the other time zones, especially Brazil. But we had 11 women. So we had England, we had the States, we had like LA. Yes. So the England, then we had Taiwan or Malaysia. What else? We had Italy. We had a Mexican. So that was hard to juggle, that one. But it's like it got to where I think what the core of this Women Leading into the Future really is, because the 6 of us, we get on great, and we can be so vulnerable in front of each other, but we can also call each other on it, and there is no attachment, emotional attachment to it. So yes. I think everybody that left was supposed to be there for a purpose.
Yes.
But now it's the 6 of us, so this is really awesome. That doesn't mean they can't come back, because all the girls that were in, they're all part of the Blessing a Training Academy. So yes. We've all been trained the same way. But for now, it's just the 6 of us, and it's actually much easier to navigate than 11.
Absolutely.
And 11 moods. Oh my.
11 women.
Let me tell you.
I say this with respect, by the way.
Oh, I know you do. I know you do. There is just something, it's just something about women. Sometimes it's difficult to work together, and sometimes they do. So,
Well, many chefs in any kitchen makes the broth a little more complex. Let's just leave it at that.
Well, I think if us girls, the 6 that are left, we have very strong masculines and very strong feminines. So we got both sides that constantly are like this.
Yes, which is fabulous.
One comes, the other goes, one comes, and all of us can step into a masculine like this.
Yeah. And
then all of us can get a bit more soft. And we have no problem crying.
Good. When the opportunity arises and the moment is there, then you just lean into it and feel what you're going to feel. So
absolutely. So whereabouts do you live?
So I'm in Melbourne.
Yeah, but where?
Oh, in Brunswick.
Oh, I'm in Doncaster.
Oh, fabulous. Okay, so we're not at different ends of the earth, which is good to start with.
When all this is finished, maybe you can do a Reiki session on me, a bit of
ooh, Oh, well, we shall see. We shall see.
I love that kind of stuff.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, I love it because I don't get it, but I don't want to get it. I just allow for whatever happens.
You get, it's something you feel and intuit. So I think it's actually a really good thing that you don't get it.
The things I let the professionals do their bit, and yeah, and I do a lot of clearing.
Okay.
And it's such a very different technology and process. And then I do tapping, and that's another thing.
EFT tapping?
Oh yeah.
Yes, me too. On myself. Yeah.
Yeah. So my psychotherapist, the inner child one, she introduced me to it, and now I get this guy Brad on YouTube, Brad Yates, and when I feel something, I just go in and.
Oh, Brad Yates.
Brad Yates.
He's my person.
Oh, love.
He's funny, and just his quirky backdrops, and he's just a bit awkward and a bit weird, but just perfectly himself.
And so cute though.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
But it works, and it works because I connect with how authentic he is.
Yeah, when he goes, don't forget to drink some water.
And take a deep breath. I love it. Wonderful. Well, Annie, we have covered so much ground. I am thoroughly impressed by our stamina. Aside from anything else, and it's such a joy to talk to someone like yourself. As I said, I feel I'm often drawn to people of a similar level of passion and commitment and interest in what they do, which is such a wonderful thing for me. And I'm so grateful that my clients are always on that page. So I think next steps, it would seem like, is, if you are happy to work alongside me and basically collaborate, which is what this would be, I'm more than happy to start scoping out what your About Me section can look like and really scaffold it so there's no confusion, no illusions, and it really is a simple process of creating this narrative for you and with you that you're happy with and that you're happy to put out into the world and for it to represent what it is that you want to represent.
Yeah. Well, let's, I like to say that you're hired. But yeah, I definitely would like to work with you. Wonderful. And can I just double check what these young people sent me a message about about me. This is the universities. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's very long. Okay, I'll read it another time.
Maybe you can forward it to me if it's relevant to.
I have no idea, but I'm happy to send it to you. It's a system overview report.
Okay, I've got friends that are user experience specialists and also in IT, so it actually may make sense to me. Depending, I don't know what window they're jumping into, but as long as it's in the house that I'm part of, that's all good. So,
what do you mean by that?
Oh, it's an analogy. So you know how homes have many windows, so many different perspectives and way in which to actually view something. As long as their window is in the same house, I'm okay. If it's something that doesn't quite resonate with me either, I might need to ask for further clarification. But I would say if they've got a system, or basically, I think what you might be referring to is navigational pathways throughout your website. So how it's connected. I don't know.
You know what I'll do is I'll send it to you.
Sure.
Just wanted to double check that that's the Caitlin I got.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll just put here FYI.
Fabulous. And anything else that they send you that's related to the About Me, just forward it. I can filter it, go relevant, not relevant.
Yeah. I think that I need to send them an About Me. Yes. And I need to find, I've got a few. I mean, did you have a look at the one in LinkedIn?
I have read through it. I haven't read through it with a fine-tooth comb, but I did read through. Yeah. And there's a structure and there's a flow to it. but I will read through it a few more times to really get the energy of it. How do you feel about the current LinkedIn About Me?
Well, Simao did it for me. So we did it together when we were doing our meetings.
Yes.
And at the time I was like, oh my God, it felt really good. And then I read it the other day and I kind of went, I don't know, maybe it's a bit dry.
Okay. So dry, you mean lacking in the emotion, or it's not as emotive as you want it to be? Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
Simao's got his he's a techie, he's an absolute nerd, right, when it comes to that. Yes. And he loves all this shit, and then he put all the emoticons and all of that.
Yeah. Mm.
And I sat there and he goes, that's the way it is now, and how people do it now. And I went, okay, I think that's too kiddie for me.
Yeah. It has a place with certain demographics. Absolutely, hands down, there's irrefutable. However, you have clearly told me that you are aiming for executive level, so high income earner, people that don't want any BS, to put it simply. I see that many emojis, little widgety bits, whatever. Unfortunately, they may interpret that as BS in terms of those image. It's just extra, just, whoa, where is the purpose? Where is the story? Where is the clear direction? Because ultimately, that's really what these people want, to be able to develop trust with you.
Yeah, so it's true. So at the time it was okay, but now I sit there and I go, I didn't have the words reducing the divorce rate.
Right. Okay.
At the time. Yeah. So this came out in conversation with Mindy when we were, and I said to Mindy, I said, we should do a webinar together because we are there to hold couples together. She said, yeah, my mission is to reduce the divorce rate. And I go, why didn't I think of that? I said, that's me too. She said, awesome. So that's the thing. I want to reduce the divorce rate. I don't want anybody to go through the emotional and the financial pain of what a divorce brings, because lack of understanding. And if they work with me and right at the end they go, we actually don't want to be married today, at least they rediscover themselves.
Yes.
They're going to be understanding of each other. And then, especially, I mean, I want them to have kids. I want to work with people that have kids. But if they don't, that, of course, I'll work with them too. Sure. But then they're going to become parents. And they're going to become friends and understand each other. And then each of them can go off and meet the right person because they know who they want in their life. Because when you're 20 and you meet somebody, you're full of excitement and sex. Being in love lasts 2 years. After that, you step into real love.
Oh, yes.
Right?
When the going gets tough and the tough gets going.
That's when you really start to learn about each other. But nobody teaches us this stuff. Nobody sat down with me and said, now, what are your fundamental principles of behavior, which is your values? Huh? At the age of 50, I'm going, what? Well, now I know clearly, but it took a while for me to work on all of that. So people just don't have this. They don't understand that they can be nobly selfish, take care, say no to others to say yes to themselves.
Yes.
They don't have that comprehensions or responsibility. You're 100% responsible for your life. You're 100% responsible for being happy.
Yes. And we can choose it. It's a choice. It is not imposed from anywhere. And Annie, if you haven't already, I would love this book. Viktor Frankl's A Man's Search for Meaning. Oh,
it's on my side table. I haven't read it yet. I just got it. It's there. And for some reason, I don't know why I'm not going to it yet, but you are the third person in about 4 days that mentioned it. Oprah mentioned it the other day. You mentioned it, and I don't know who else mentioned it. So I think clearly I need to, read it.
Annie, it's written by a man, but for humanity.
Yeah.
And what he has come up with is ground. I don't even want to do a caveat. It speaks for itself. And honestly, it is so exquisitely crafted. It's a short read, but it's a deep read.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I'll go to bed early today and start reading. But I'm very much, I watched an interview with him and I was like this. It's like every word that came out of his mouth and his passion. And you go, this is a man that was, you try to imagine him in those circumstances, and they couldn't kill his spirit.
No.
So he's still loud and he's got the, like the European accent. Like, you go supermarket, okay? That kind of, yeah. Good. Okay, you know what? I think you and I could talk for another 2 hours.
I'm sure we could.
Energy. So I would love to work with you. I think what I would like for you to let me know, once you go and think about it, how many sessions or project or whatever this is going to be. You said a lot of things to me that like they kind of make sense, but I'm a visual person, so how is that all fitting in? But I think you're going to be doing a little bit more for me than just copywriting. I have a feeling.
Indeed. I'm trained in the fine arts, so I am highly visual. I paint, I draw, I make connections in a whole array of ways. So that's wonderful. It's a whole other language to tap into. That is wonderful. So what I can do now is go away, think about different approaches that we can have to this. Think about, once again, as I said before, scoping it out, looking at how many sessions it would take to accomplish certain outcomes. And I would say, for example, if you're able to share this recording with me as well, I'll be able to listen back to it. I'll pick out the key objectives, and then I'll map out based on how far you are already through your process. I mean, you're not new to the world of business. You're a mature person who has many, many, many insights into the world, into themselves. I always start with, what is your starting point? Your starting point is here. It's not here. So this is all wonderful. And as I mentioned before as well, this will condense the experience, which is a wonderful thing. And along the way, if we do discover other areas and opportunities for growth and expansion, really, I'm very open to you highlighting that with me, because you know yourself the best. And then we can discuss what that means moving forward. But first things first, let's get this About Me section up to speed and satisfy, most importantly, your desire to have great clarity on what this looks like, and your audiences as well eventually. And then as a sort of secondary outcome, it will be great that this team you're working with Monash University students, that they have the tools that they need. Really.
But before you go, you said expansion. So I'm going to throw 2 things in, because at least it's recorded. So please. Yeah. So one of the things that Simao mentioned to me when I first started working with him, oh my God, I'm having a hot flash. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. You have no idea. But it's like a weight has fallen off me, because I don't need to worry about this.
Tell me more.
Tell you more. So one of the things that Simao said to me, he goes, Annie, have you considered working with couples that are planning to get married?
Ooh.
He said, Annie, you don't want them because they don't have these tools to get to where the 45, 50 years old are in a lot of agony and pain. They're going to have a really good start. And I'll tell you what, I sat there and I went, oh my God. And just now, as I'm telling you, like my methodology has nine steps.
Okay.
I'm just sort of sitting here going, how amazing would it be to just do a webinar or something that actually helps them? Because, normally they go to the priest and then the priest talks about God and all of that. And that's great.
Yeah, to a degree.
To a degree, like I believe in God and that, but, but God has given me the tools, the brain to seek answers, right? He's not going to give you the tool. Okay, so here is your values, here's your goals, here's responsibility, here's the things that I teach.
Yes.
So He's given me the brains and the pain to go and chase all that and figure it out.
Yes.
No, I don't have pain anymore. Like, I do get hurt and I get annoyed with shit, but I get over it quickly. Sure. So I'm very content and fulfilled in my life. So if I'm at the end of my life, no regrets. And that's what I want for everybody. Maybe can I read you my mission statement?
Yes. And before you do so, in just a moment, one thing that I thought I'd mention is I have a background in instructional design. I'm not sure if you've heard about this, but in essence, what it is, this is a topic for a whole other conversation, but basically when you mention webinars and designing one to fit in with your methodology, instructional design is the theory and practice behind learning and teaching. And it's fabulous. I love working on it with my clients, and it is like a whole nother field of excitement and professional development. So instructional design will give you an advantage you can't even imagine in webinars over others, which is good to know. And one more thing, the mission vision.
My heart can't handle any more of this. This is so exciting. I'm going to pee myself any minute.
Thank you for sharing that. No, it's wonderful. I've just finished working on a unique value proposition, which includes the mission, vision, and values for the relationship coach, who's a girlfriend of mine who I mentioned before. So I am very much in this headspace and really excited. You're welcome. Please, what's your mission that you've currently got?
Well, I wrote this in 2013. So at that time I wasn't a relationship person, but this is what I want for people, right? I want to awaken the dormant spirit in others, to bring out the twinkle in their eyes, to let them laugh wholeheartedly, dream big, and live a fulfilled life. So when the time comes, there are no regrets, only brilliant memories of a life lived to the fullest.
Beautiful.
I still find it difficult to read it without getting emotional, because this is what happened to me.
Yeah.
After all the pain that I've been through, this is how I live now. My eyes are shiny. When I laugh, the whole cinema hears it, and they're all watching me rather than the movie. And you know, I just, it is possible because I did it. So I want to give that to people, right?
Wonderful.
Yeah. So that was another side step. And so the couples, the young people, or even if they get married for the second time around, that's something that I want to do. And then on the other hand, I have a Facebook group called Ask Annie and Let Love In, but I haven't worked on it. I want to do a Dear Abby. Do you remember Dear Abby?
Yes.
So I want to be a Dear Abby. I want people to have a space where they can write in, and then I respond to their query.
Fabulous. Okay.
So I need some copy for that too.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. To really flesh that out.
So there's a lot going on, and they all interconnect in some. It's all about relationships.
Yes.
With your parents, with your friends, with your co-workers, with your business associates, your lovers. I'm all about relationships. That's it. So yeah.
That wonderful. Well, there seems to be a lot in your pipeline of projects, which is the same for me. So that is wonderful. And you know, I think in this instance, it comes down to order of priorities, which is quite clear as to what these will be. And I would be delighted to explore other opportunities moving forward, because once we have this clear, established foundation, working relationship between us, it really just lends itself to me assisting you with other things, because you don't need to go through the full explanation process, alignment, you know, checks and balances, and whatever the case may be. So I'm really open to that opportunity. And I think it will be incredibly telling for myself and for yourself in terms of the different way in which we work and our approach. this first exercise of creating this About Me section for your website. And one other thing as well, which I'll talk about in the scope and plan, is what I am a firm believer of is building assets that are multifaceted. And what I mean by that is this About Me is an asset for your business. And I can go into talking about this more in sessions and so on, but our time is limited on this earth in terms of in our days. Everyone has 24 hours. And ideally, what we aim to do as a business owner or whatever the title might be is to optimize the time that we have, and also, oh, my internet's going funny again, but optimize the time that we have and really gain the most value from the assets that we're creating. So what I think could be really valuable and useful, sorry, I'm not quite sure why, but it will refocus in a moment.
Yeah, I can still hear you, so that's fine.
Okay, excellent. Is this About Me section? Oh, there I am. This About Me section, it would be fantastic if it's translatable to other areas of your business, other resources that you offer. I don't want it to sit alone, isolated on your website. If you can leverage it and gain more value in other areas of your business, that is exactly what I aim to do. So that's what I meant by sort of optimization and assets and multifaceted and so on. But that's just some lingo.
I just wrote a multi-authored book called Ignite Love, right?
Great.
Yeah, and people around the world. So we all, there's 35 of us, and we wrote about love. And I had to do an About Me, and I was just sitting there going, I said, I don't know what the hell to write, you know? So I do and I don't, and then I read it and I go, there's something missing. There's something missing. So for me, I think what I really would like, because Simao is updating my banner for LinkedIn.
Yes.
People are looking at my LinkedIn.
Yes.
But all those things, a couple of love hearts here, there, yes, because that's me, because I'm a bit, girly, and I don't mind a couple of love hearts here, there, but all the clogs and all those, nah, not anymore. It was okay at the time, but not anymore. I look at it and I go, that's not me.
Annie, it's 7 years ago. 7 years. And if you think of the state of evolution of your soul, of yourself as a business person, of all of the experiences, skills, everything you've grown since then, that's brought you to this point, and maybe it just doesn't fully resonate with you anymore, which is fine.
Yeah, but that just happened last year. He wrote that last year, but that's...
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, no, I wrote my mission 7 years ago.
Now I see. Okay, pardon me for mixing up.
What we wrote on LinkedIn, I mean, he helped me with that, and it was good. Like the words are pretty good there. I just think I'm ready to remove all the emoticons. I'm just, nah. It's just not me. I'm a very elegant person, so that. You don't even, I hear you. I like to think of myself as an elegant human being as well. So I fully understand where you're coming from. Okay. Wonderful, Annie. Yeah. So when should we meet again or talk or whatever?
Yeah, absolutely. So first things first, how about I ask Samal for the brief of what you've already discussed. I'll read through that tomorrow. I'll also read through any emails that you forward to me from these Monash students, which you may not think of immediately, but I would be really keen to look at, is how navigationally the About Me section of your website sits with everything else, because it creates a pathway and a journey through your website that takes you to that space. So it's good to know how people get there, because then I'll know what comes before it and informs it. So have they even mapped that? Have they?
No, they're just starting now. So we're gonna meet. I meet with them every Thursday.
Fabulous. Okay.
And they're gonna show me. So I think the girl who is designing the look of the website, she said she's very artistic, right?
Good.
It was really cool because they came in, you know, half, you know, most of them are Asian, and then I think she's Sri Lankan or something.
Yeah.
So they were like, deliver, 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 deliver. And I said, stop.
Yes.
And they all went, I said, relax, relax. I said, here's the thing. You don't need to be so anal.
Yeah.
I said, just deliver, tell me what this is about, use normal English. You don't need to use all the jargon because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Sure.
So I'm going to get through this whole process and I will know nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
So why don't you just all just sit back and chill out for a minute? And I said, and then we're going to have another meeting where I want you to meet my flavor and I want to know you.
Great.
I set it up in a way, and I do this thing called what do you feel like saying, and we do this in our meetings. So what do you feel like saying, it gets people present. So they were really happy about sharing, and they were able to share that they're nervous or they're this or they're that. So by the time it gets to me, I know what's happening in the room, and then I address every single one of them, right? So it puts their mind at ease. And then I started to learn, one of them likes the backdrop. He likes to work in the background doing all the programming. Other one, he's the dots and eyes kind of guy. And one of the girls, she likes she likes the software. And then one of the girls, and the one that I'm much more connected to, there is a vibe between us. She said, I'm creative. She goes, I like all the pretty things. And I'm going, oh my God, couldn't be a better team. Could not be a better team.
Wonderful. They will support you immense. And do you know what? They have every reason to, because this is professional development and something they can put in their portfolio of work. So I'm delighted for their opportunity and delighted for yours as well. Absolutely. So I'll read through Samal's brief. I'll read through these emails, whatever you think is relevant. What I'll do then is I'll come up with a scope and a plan. I'll very carefully read through as a reference point the LinkedIn profile about me, and we can use that as a launch pad. Then what I'll do is I will create a set of questions to further clarify precisely what it is we're trying to achieve. I'll also make some recommendations in terms of where this about me section can sit now with the broader knowledge of, okay, Annie's involved in this, Annie's involved in this, Annie wants to be involved, and so on and so on. So it can really grow with you as you're growing in your business. And then we can basically lock in some times to meet. And the vast majority of the work, Annie, will be done in between sessions by myself. And then really the sessions will be to come together and be sure, and this is in the context of the About Me section. Other things, we'll see how we go. In the sessions, it's really about talking and getting to the fine details. Are you happy with this? Yes, no, maybe. Okay, how can we tweak it? And so on. But the vast majority of the work on my part will be done in between, so that our time together is really high level, valuable conversation, and not the nitty gritty things I ultimately should be tasked with working out before our sessions.
Yeah, okay. Sounds fantastic. Okay. I wanted to ask you,
yes, in
relation to this video, yes, do you want this transcribed? I don't mind either. Actually, transcribed would be useful because it's searchable. If it's too much of a headache to have it transcribed, don't worry, I can watch it back. I have semi-photographic memory, so I'll actually be able to remember parts of our conversation based on the visual and the auditory at the same time. Yeah, I have this great program. I don't know if you heard of it. It's called otter.ai.
Yes, I have heard of that.
It is the ant's pants.
The cat's pajamas.
Absolutely. So I forgot to put it on today. I should have put it on today. I keep forgetting. It's something I need to train myself. Right. Is when I watch a webinar or I talk to somebody, it's running in the background, it's recording and writing at the same time.
Fabulous.
So the whole thing is downloaded. Mm-hmm. And then, like, it's not 100% as far as spelling. Yeah. But I sometimes sit there and I just let it play, and then as it's replaying the audio, it's moving along the lines, the word.
Ah,
And then
yes.
it's, let's say I dictate, you know, I don't know, an article, because I can just go, oh, blah, 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 blah. And then it's all there, and I go, okay, move this word here, move this word here, move this word here, and it's done. It's got highlighting, it's got keywords at the top.
Fabulous.
Amazing.
Otter.ai. Love it.
So either I just send this to you, and then you, because what I normally do is I let the video play, I let Otter play in the background, I go have my shower, make my bed, get ready, and it's all happening. And
done.
Then,
that sounds amazing. I would really appreciate the script of, you know, what we've been talking about, the transcription, but also of course the visual as well, because that helps me pinpoint as well certain emotional cues for you, because this is very important in writing. You know, as we mentioned right back at the beginning of the discussion, being emotive, evoking some sort of response. Writing takes that to so far, but it will be really helpful for me to see when you become extra animated, you know, for example, in the video. So that will be wonderful. And yeah, I'm really pleased that you're happy with this particular process. It has worked for myself and many, many people.
I'm like, I feel so relieved right now, because I feel, okay, it's another thing that I don't have to figure out.
Yes.
It's me, myself, and I. So now I'm in a process of, you know, lucky I've got some capital, I've got some savings, because I'm not making enough money to cover all of this.
Sure.
Luckily I've got some savings. So now my thing is, okay, now I've got to get a VA. Because
I can recommend some. I have the most incredible VA in digital marketing specifically. I'm not sure what your VA would need to do.
What is your VA doing?
Oh, he is just, and his wife are amazing.
Are they here in Australia?
Philippines, which is not that, only 2 hours. I think it's 2 hours behind. Incredible.
Price-wise, like the Philippines are very affordable.
Incredible. And their level of English is as good as anyone that I know really in Australia.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I've been given the name of somebody, and for some reason I have not, I keep waiting to call them, and I sit here and I just go, like, seriously, there is a God, Allah, Buddha, soul, whatever you believe in, because there's a reason why I don't do that. I didn't do that because there's somebody else. But I've got about 1,500 videos. I am very active on social media, on Facebook. I'm doing lives. Like now I'm doing a 90-day experience, but prior to that I did 120 days consecutive lives.
Annie, my VA's background is in film and television. He is unbelievable.
Okay.
Now, I think
do you know what a BHAG is?
Yes, big, hairy, audacious goal. Yeah.
So my BHAG is to be on television, on the project as Australia's #1 relationship architect.
Ooh.
Imagine that platform is 1 to millions.
Mine's to be on a TED Talk or multiple TED Talks.
And you shall be.
My BHAG.
And you shall be. So TED Talk is but to me it's like, so what is the best platform to get out there to teach this stuff?
Yes.
And I just go, and people have been telling me, Annie, you need to be on TV. You need to be on TV. You need to have your own show. I don't know. And now I'm going, people said you need to write a book. I've written 2. So
yes.
I'm like, okay. Clearly they see something. So, so I want to be on TV. And not because, oh, look at me.
No. It's not just based. Yeah.
I'm going to be talking to millions of people. A question is going to be asked. I'm going to answer, and millions of people will go, oh, that makes sense. Oh, it's simple. It's honest. It comes from the heart.
Yes.
I've experienced it. So it's not just a theory.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay. I told you I love you about an hour ago, didn't I?
You did.
Love at first sight. Yeah. All right. Fantastic. Well, I probably, next time we talk, I would like to talk to them, because I heard that if you upload videos on YouTube, that's where people search.
Oh, yes. I'm going through the process of optimization for my YouTube channel at the moment, which is growing. So, and I'm in conversation with David and his wife, Isa, about this. So what I can do, Annie, is if you'd like me to, I can do what Samau did. Eventually I can do this for yourself and myself. I can give you an introduction to these wonderful people, and then maybe there can be a conversation between the two of you. I can forward you the resume of Isa, because I recently suggested that one of my girlfriends would do very nicely working with her. So if you'd like to, just to get your head around, okay, what do they do? I can forward that to you, and you can have a read through that. I'll do that after our call. And then her husband, David, who I work with, he has a similar background, but with a slightly different slant, highly creative, inspirationally creative. This person, and the passion for his work, the comprehensive nature of how he does everything, and also the timeframes he works in. He is speedy.
So
not messing around.
The people that I was recommended,
yes,
they work for you 2 hours a day.
Okay.
And they charge $200 a month.
No comment.
Why? Too cheap?
Well, to put things into context, the outcomes that I get are professional level, no question about it. $5 an hour.
Yeah.
And the number of hours it takes to do a vast volume of work is not crazy. So we're talking $200 on average every 2 months, Australian dollars.
You too. You and them.
So me paying them, my VA.
I almost said the F word.
If you'd like to, you're welcome. I know it too.
You're kidding me.
I am not. I am not.
Yes, please.
When you see their resume, you'll say it twice. I can tell you.
Because I could get him to bloody edit everything for me.
Oh, yes, you can.
And I don't have to waste my time with, I love doing all my little...
No. David is, and also these people are delightful people. They're lovely people. I've got to know him well. We're very cordial. We say, how are you going? How's your weekend? You know, it's not so, how to explain it? It's not so cut and dry.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, a lot of Asian nations, they are very, I need a pulse.
Oh no, they've got pulse. They have a pulse and they have a character and they have ideas. And occasionally David sends me an email. I say, David, I say, do you know what you just used? I say, what was that, Caitlin? You used your initiative. Do you know how few people exercise the freedom of initiative? Oh my goodness. But anyhow, so I'll put you in contact with them.
Yes, please, because I know that I need to upload all these videos onto
Fine. That's fine. You can scope it out. You can work out how long that will take. He can see if he has the time to take on that entire project, or if they can tag team it. Isa and David, as I said, they're married, which is interesting crossover because you're a relation. So you're getting a married couple potentially to help you.
I need that. And
alignment.
I also have, for the life of me, I don't know how people do it. I can't wrap my mind around VAs, because I have 6 notebooks like this with content from my mind coach.
Yes.
That is very left-wing stuff that nobody else talks about.
Ooh, next book.
And I want, but it's handwritten, so I'm not sure if people can read that. But I want all that transcribed.
Okay.
All of it.
That may be a skill set that someone else would need to assist with. That where there's a will, there's a way. That's all I can say.
Well, they probably know people. They all have friends.
Oh, they all have networks. Wonderful. And you can scope that out with them. Excellent. So Annie, I am
goodbye
struck by this conversation.
And
I know. It's brilliant. Yeah.
Please introduce me to them so I can have a chat to them and get the YouTube happening in the background.
Yes.
As I said, I've got many videos. I don't even know what those videos are about anymore. I've got a shitload of them on Facebook. I have done that many of them.
Hundreds, literally.
I've got hundreds, if not 1,000 on YouTube alone, on Facebook alone.
Okay, what I'll do, Annie, is I'll say the purpose of this introduction initially, is to look at the opportunity for editing bulk videos. And I will say, you know, maybe in the hundreds of videos, you know, and just to scope that out and sort of test the temperature and see how they respond to that in terms of time frames, because this won't, of course, happen overnight. This is a project, which is fine, and that's great. And now's the time to be doing it whilst, you know, coronavirus is rampant, supposedly. Anyway, that's another conversation.
I still can't figure out how Corona knows that the potential person is under 12. So I won't go to you, but I'll go to your mom. Yes.
Yes, Annie. Yes. Okay, wonderful. Well, we will be very soon. I will email you right away. In fact, I'll create this email introducing, and I'll also forward you prior to that email the resume for Isa. And then we can get the ball rolling. I'm also really excited about meeting, was it Nida? Midi, and potentially the other women that you're working with in that amazing sort of future women leaders group. I love the sound of it. So how wonderful.
I will mention it to them on Thursday.
Yes.
And if they say, well, we would like to meet her, possibly you need to be available the following week on Thursday night at 8 o'clock.
And I will be.
Cool. Awesome. Are you married?
I'm not married, no.
Oh, okay.
I aspire to be married.
A big ring there, and I thought
no, that's for my own joy. It's got nothing to do with a relationship with someone else. No, this is meaningful for me, but it's not no, it's not that.
I was gonna say, my God, that's your engagement ring, far out.
One day it will be.
Absolutely. Same with me. I mean, I'm as single as they come. And I have been for, over a year now.
Isn't it joyful? I would always choose single and joyful and peaceful than coupled with someone that is an issue.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I'm ready to have a relationship now. I'd love to have one, but with the right person.
Annie, I've just opened myself up to the opportunity of that in my heart and my mind at the same time. So it will come because we're putting the energy out there. So it's going to come back to us beautifully.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Caitlin, from my heart to yours, it's an absolute pleasure. I'm very excited. Thank you for your time. And this has been more than a half an hour, but I thank you for taking the time. And I can sense an amazing working relationship. And I feel so at peace now because I just heard what I need to hear. And the kind of help that I require, so I don't have to worry about that. So I can start going and creating content.
Yes, that's where you add the value. Do things that add the greatest value, you know, and outsource other things.
Yes. Thank you, Caitlin. Have a good night, and I'll speak to you soon.
Wonderful. Talk soon, Annie. Bye.
Bye. Bye.